What is up, pretty people? I'm Amanda Morrissey, and welcome back to another episode of Too Pretty to Be Unhappy. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode and for another Too Pretty Tuesday. First, I want to start out by saying that the overwhelming amount of love and support that has poured in over the last 2 weeks from our episode featuring my good friend D. Wright Kelly has been incredible. Talking about grief and death and dying is a very difficult topic. I feel, though, that it is so important because as much as we want to try to avoid it and not talk about it, it's inevitable to enter our lives. And I think that if, like Dee said, we are able to prep ourselves with the right tools to facilitate those types of conversations and really kind of take the power back in a situation of grief, I think that's something really special and important. So thank you so much. Towards the end of the episode, I am going to be reading some of the wonderful and beautiful comments that you guys have been leaving on the posts, on the video itself, and the reviews and such. So thank you so much and stay tuned to be sure to hear those. So the last 3 episodes have been pretty heavy, and they have been such important topics though, and I'm so glad that we were able to talk about them and bring those episodes to you. But I thought for this episode, let's have a bit of a lighter topic and have some fun. We are back in the egg chair and we're back for a very quick story time. And then I want to get into, I was looking through my phone the other day and I came across my notes app with my bucket list items. And I was looking through them and I was so happy to see that I have actually checked off some of my bucket list items without even knowing. We're going to go through that too. But first, something that happened to me this weekend, and it was a bit of a, I was shook the whole day from it. And I don't know if this has ever happened to someone else. Have you ever forgotten your age? I genuinely, this weekend, forgot how old I was. Realized that I have been telling the public that I have been one age for at least 6 months, when in fact, I have been a different age. And I know you're thinking, like, how the hell do you not know how old you are, Amanda? Well, you know what, guys? Once you hit 30, it starts to all blend together. Please, somebody write into me and just tell me if this has happened to you as well so that I feel less crazy, because I was shook for the day and I went into a downward spiral. My sister is 3 years older than I am, and my birthday is 2 weeks later after hers. When we're sitting down as a family, just talking about her birthday and stuff like that, I was like, Meg, I go, what are you, 37? She goes, excuse me, no, I'm 36. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm 36. I go, if you're 30, you can't be 36 because I'm 33. She's like, Amanda, you're not 33, you're 32. I said, I'm sorry, what? She said, you're 32 years old. I was just 35. You were 32. We're 3 years apart. I turned 36 today. You're going to turn 33 in 2 weeks. Now, I know what you're thinking. At least I did the reverse and I'm younger than I thought. But then I went into a downward spiral of being upset that I have been telling everyone that I'm older than I am. And I missed out on a year of saying that I'm 32. Because in my mind, 32 is a lot younger than 33 for some reason. So now I've just spent the last year telling everyone I'm 33 when in fact I was 32 and I could have been saying that I was 32. And now I have spent another year saying that I'm 33. Then I really got into a downward spiral and I'm like, how could you mess that up? Like, at what point did you really forget? Like, at what point did you start telling people that you were 33 years old? And it's got to be 6 months that I've been saying this and I've been lying to the public, to myself. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then I'm like, oh my God, is this what it is? Like, is this how life is just going to be? Like, I'm grateful, thankfully, that like I got a year of my life back, technically. which feels good, but it's also scary in that moment to be like, oh my God, like this is something that's really important that you should know. And I don't, obviously. And then even my nephew was like, yeah, just do the math. And I was like, you're like 8. You do the math. And now I'm thinking back on our first episode. And I'm wondering, did I say I was 33 or I was 32 when I introduced myself initially? By the time this airs in 1 week, I will be 33 officially. Because I am currently 32. And let me tell you, since I learned that I was 32 years old the other day, I've been telling everybody. 32, not 33, 32. Now, especially talking about like my birthday coming up and reflecting on my year and all that kind of stuff. Like, I thought this would be a good time to kind of chat bucket list and to see how many people out there have a bucket list and what some of your bucket list items are. Now, what I also did last night, I noticed that I had bucket list items and then I had goals. The bucket list items I'm viewing as like the fun, once in a lifetime type of experiences and things like that. If any of you have done these bucket list items, I would love to know, and I would love to see pictures, or I would love to hear more about it. And this is not for the next year that I want to do all this, which that would be sick. But no, I'm like giving myself some grace and it'll be like over the lifetime. Some of the things on my bucket list as I've been reflecting on this last year and all of the big changes that have happened. And I look through and I am so excited that I was actually able to accomplish some of the things on my bucket list this year and previous. So some bucket list items that I have been able to accomplish over the last few years is traveling to Italy and Croatia. Traveling alone was on my bucket list. Attending Oktoberfest in Munich. I have had the opportunity to play basketball at Madison Square Garden with a work event, which is very cool. That I don't think a lot of people can say that they've ever actually played basketball and shot a basketball in the hoop at Madison Square Garden. I've had the opportunity to play football at MetLife Stadium, where the Giants and the Jets play. And it was actually the Giants field that was out when we were doing it. It was another work event. That was incredible, super cool. I saw a concert at Red Rocks. If you have not had the opportunity to experience a concert at Red Rocks, stop what you're doing, pause this podcast, go online, search the concerts at Red Rocks that are happening, buy a concert ticket, buy a flight, get out there, because it was an out-of-body experience and it was so incredible. And I went with my best friend Nina a few years ago. We saw our favorite artist, Dermot Kennedy, and it was a life-changing experience. Seeing a show at that arena is just so incredible and beautiful. So I recommend it to everybody if you have the opportunity. Colorado is such an incredible and beautiful state anyway. Make, a full trip out of it and just do it. It was incredible. I've traveled to Bali and Thailand, which are 2 places that I never thought that I would ever say that I have traveled to. And something really special to me is that I have become an ordained minister online. I have had the pleasure of ordaining 2 of my best friend's marriages. So that was a really big one too, and that was really cool. So now let's get into the rest of these bucket list items. The very first one on my bucket list I'm actually doing in May, which is going to Greece. Greece has been number 1 on my travel, like dream places to travel to for a few years now. So I'm so excited to be able to go. Next one on my list is to stay in an ice hotel. I have only seen these on like Instagram and TikTok. I'm sure I have to go to like Iceland, or I think I just saw one in Sweden. I've been in an ice bar in Boston. That was cool, but you could only go in for a certain amount of time. So I'm wondering what it would be like to stay in an ice hotel then. And if it's really what I'm thinking about. Or like maybe just a portion of the hotel is ice. I don't really know how it works. One day in the future, your girl would love to fly in a private jet. Don't have to go far, but would love the experience flying private. Just feel fancy. If any of my viewers have a private jet, hit me up on Instagram. Thank you. I've never been ziplining before. And it's one of those like adventurous things that I would like to do. And I would just like to do it through the jungle. And I really want to visit Costa Rica. I actually think Costa Rica might be next for me after Greece. I've done a lot of Europe this past year with Croatia, Italy, and now Greece. So I think I want to see more of South America. Ooh, a hot air balloon ride. One, I would just love to go to like a hot air balloon festival, but to go on a hot air balloon ride, I heard it's kind of dangerous. Actually, my work mentor, she was proposed to on a hot air balloon ride, which I think was so cool. Oh, the next one, shout out all of my Disney adults. If you haven't tuned in, make sure you tune in to the episode about my sister's bachelorette that happened in Disney World. I would love, love, love to be able to stay in Cinderella's castle in Disney World, like in the Magic Kingdom. The way that like the room and the experience looks so incredible. And come on, who doesn't want to sleep in a castle for a night? I don't care how old you are. I couldn't even guess how much that is to do. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take the private jet to Disney World and then stay in Cinderella's castle, because I'm probably going to need just as much money to do both. Next, this one's kind of lame. I don't know. All right, I'm going to say drive the PCH. So I know a lot of people are like, that's so overrated. And like, all right, fine, whatever. But no, I would really like to drive the PCH. I love water. I love the ocean. I love all that kind of stuff. I've also actually never spent that much time in California either. I think that would just be really fun and like a cool, fun way to see it. And some people are probably going to be like, you're so lame. It's overrated. Whatever. Okay. Maybe I'll get like a few miles in and be like, yep, well, that's it. I'm done. Like, good enough for me. Oh, the next one is see the Northern Lights. This one, honestly, I could probably pair with the Ice Hotel, because I'd probably have to go somewhere that far north to be able to stay in an ice hotel. And maybe I'll take the PJ there. Yeah, that would be fun. Oh, one that I crossed off my bucket list, which is on here still, is going to Oktoberfest. I think it was 2018. And I had the opportunity to go to Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany. I went with some girls from work. We were on a work trip. It was so much fun. Guys, if you have the opportunity to be in Europe around September, October, you must make a trip to Munich and just go to Oktoberfest. Go one day. That's all you need. You only need to go one day. You're sitting at these really long tables and everyone is dressed in, I think it's called a dirndl, and I am also might be butchering that. And it's like, if you are not dressed, you stand out. It's like we were going there, we're like, oh, like, should we get dressed? Should we not? Like, are we going to be the only ones? No. It's almost like you won't be allowed in if you're not dressed properly. I'm so happy that I was actually able to check that off my bucket list. And I would love to hear anyone else's Oktoberfest stories if they have any. I don't know why, but I just really want to go parasailing. And I think that it would be really fun. I was just in Mexico and I probably should have done it there. So next is to get my boating license. I don't own a PJ or a boat, but I don't know. I love the water and I love being on boats, and I love a lot of the vacations that I take. I'm on a boat, around a boat. Next one is one that I think is achievable too at some point, is I really want to go to Mardi Gras. I would just love to be able to experience that culture and that vibe. So this one is probably now number one, since I'm going to be going to Greece in May. Every fiber of my being wants to go on a safari in Africa. I think that animals are incredible. I'm an animal person. I'm a dog person. And I think just to see these wild animals in like their natural habitat, and just to be there and experience that culture too, I think would be incredible and something that I have never done before. It would take me out of my comfort zone. I've never been to that side of the world before. And I just think it would be a really incredible and probably a life-changing experience. So that one is definitely going to be my new number one. Okay, this one you guys are going to laugh at again because it's so ridiculous. And I probably should have done this 20 years ago, but here we are. I want to learn how to skateboard Is that lame? I never went through an emo phase when I was younger. Maybe I did. Maybe I did, because I was super into like Paramore and Flyleaf and Evanescence and Linkin Park and stuff, and I still am. But I never got on a skateboard, probably because I danced, and if I hurt myself, that would have been really bad in the end of my dancing in high school. If anyone knows how to skateboard out there and wants to meet me at the park sometime and help an old girl out, I think that would be sick. Next is going to be horseback riding. I have gone horseback riding before, so maybe this is cheating, but I had a wild allergic reaction to the horses. Like, I was super allergic. This was also well over 20 years ago. It might be because I watch Yellowstone as well. I don't know. I can't wait for the new season, actually. The last two, visit the Maldives and to visit Spain. So those are also very high on my travel bucket list. Spain is definitely high up there. I would love to go out to see the Maldives as well. I've never been on that side of the world. So I think that that would be really wonderful. So if anybody has ever been to those two places, please let me know. Some of my goals, which I kind of took out from my bucket list items. The first one is to learn another language. I would love to learn either Spanish or French. And I think that you are never too old to be learning and to educate yourself and to learn something new. I just think that it would be really incredible and really cool to be able to learn another language. Another goal of mine is to open my own business. I have a business in mind that I've talked about with friends. I'm not going to get too far into it right now, but I just see myself as an entrepreneur. My dad is an entrepreneur, started his business from the ground up almost 30 years ago, or a little over 30 years ago, and he worked his tail off. And I think that that's where I learned my work ethic. And especially after leaving corporate America in November and being gone and being out of that life and out of that lifestyle, I have to say, there is not 1 inch of me or 1 piece of me that wants to go back. I have zero desire to go back to corporate America. I have zero desire to go back to working for someone else in that capacity. I really feel in my heart that I would love to be able to open up my own business and be my own boss and make something, a business that will contribute to our community, a place where people can come together. That's my biggest goal right now. Over, if we're talking 5-year plan, it's that. It's to get to a point where I can open my own business. Life goal, last one, is to own a beach house. Somewhere, anywhere. I love the water. I love the beach. The beach is my happy place. If you ask me, Amanda, what is your favorite memory or your favorite moment in time, everyone close your eyes. It's about 4:45, 5 o'clock. You walk up onto the beach and the sun is setting and the sand is cold in between your toes, and there's almost nobody on the beach, and you can just hear the waves, and it's like a bluish purple pink sun is setting, and you're just walking out and you can feel it, and you're in a sweatshirt and the sand is cold between your toes. Like that is my favorite moment in time. One day I want to be able to have that whenever I want. I've recently taken off of my bucket list or goals list, which I actually haven't even told anybody yet. Well, I told my sister Megan, so she was the first one. So you guys are all learning this information brand new. I actually took off of my list becoming a mom. I have been thinking about this a lot over the last few months and kind of seeing where my life is. Up until very recently, it was always like, I want to get married. I want to have children. I've always said I want 5 boys. I want a basketball team. Like, I want to pull up in like that Tahoe and all the doors fly open and all the boys jump out and like it's like so fun and it's chaos all the time. And part of me still wants that. It has been on my mind recently that if that isn't the way that my life was going to go, that wasn't in the cards for me, or, you know, due to either me changing my mind or not being able to have my own children or not meeting someone or whatever. And I know there's so many ways right now that you can have children through adoption and IVF and all this kind of stuff. And thank God for science and thank God for all of those things. As I've been living my life recently, I've kind of been thinking about it and I'm like, I don't know right now if that is what I want anymore. Whereas before I was kind of like, all right, like this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is the life that I want. And then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, did you want that life? Or is that the traditional life that you have always been taught? Or, you know, a lot of my friends have such beautiful, wonderful families and children. And I see the love of a mother and children. And I think that's wonderful. But I always want to be honest with you guys. And I'm like, in my mind right now and in my heart, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want anymore. I think that especially too, as I look at like this bucket list and I look at changes that I've made this year, from quitting my job, trying something new and leading a different life and trying to make positive changes. I don't know. That has also been in my mind recently of, you know, I am getting older and if that's what I want anymore. You guys are hearing this all first, but I also feel comfortable enough to tell you guys and I love this community so much and I feel comfortable talking to you guys about this. And it kind of feels good to say out loud because I've been thinking about it and I actually told my sister for the first time a few weeks ago. She was obviously very supportive. She's like, whatever you want, like this is your life. And just, I feel like, especially since I've been working on my mental health and everything, like I'm really enjoying my life a lot and trying to figure out the life that I want to lead over these last few months. There's a lot of things that I want to do. I see it with my sister and I see it with all of my friends, the commitment and the responsibility. It's clearly and obviously life altering and I have to tell you guys that when you have children, and I think that's really wonderful and beautiful. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if that's what I want, if I want other things. And I think that that's okay. Wow, I wasn't fully super planning on talking about that, but here we are and it's out and great. And I actually feel kind of better. More to come. We'll see. I mean, decision can always change. It's up to you. It's our lives. We lead a life that we want. So we'll see. Before I end this episode, I want to say thank you to everybody who has reached out over the last few episodes, who has sent wonderful, beautiful messages of support and love and comments and likes and hearts and everything. Thank you so much. With my mental health and still on that journey and everything, sometimes it's hard for me to find the motivation and the energy to continue to film or, you know, thinking of new fun ideas to talk about or guests to bring on. I want to bring good quality. I want to bring the best to you guys. Those messages sometimes, even when I'm going through a funk, mean more to me than you know. Like when I write back and I say this made my day, it's because it did. It really made my day and it's my reminder to keep going and to keep doing this. I want to read some reviews. I am not going to read who they're from just because I didn't ask if I could read them off. I'll be keeping everyone's names private. This one came after the first Healing Through Grief episode, part 1. And this person said, Under the Sea came up on my Apple playlist on our ride home from school this afternoon after watching your video, heart. Which to me, I sent this to Dee and she said, she goes, my dad likes it. And that was kind of like his wink to us that he liked the episode and he appreciated what we did. And that honestly, that made my whole day when I got that. Another one that came in from someone after that episode, she says, one of the greatest, talking about Sam, one of the greatest men that ever lived. He was our neighbor when our house burned down. The conservatory, the studio that Sam started, was such an escape, a reprieve, a beautiful soul. Just so wonderful. Someone else said, I got chills listening to this. Sam was larger than life, and I so remember him at the dance studio. The Too Pretty story time. If I can make a career out of traveling full time, that's exactly what I'd do, lol. So I totally understand and relate to those feelings. I feel most alive when I'm out exploring and adventuring, which I completely agree with. Someone else says, hi, love listening to your podcast. You are incredible and so inspirational. I remember you from the dance team days. So glad you are doing well. A brave, inspirational, intelligent young woman. Much success to you. Which was just so nice. I actually received that on a day when I was not feeling great, and it made my whole day, so thank you. Someone said on part 1 of Healing Through Grief, love the latest podcast, can't wait to see part 2, congrats. Someone else wrote, I love your podcast. I listen to it on my way to work every morning, and sometimes I'm laughing and sometimes I'm crying, but I thought you should know how wonderful it is, and it's part of my morning now. Guys, like, I'm crying. That was so sweet. Thank you so much. It means so much to me that this podcast has become part of your routine and part of your mornings. That is so special. It would be awesome too if we could have the blue hearts be the too pretty to be unhappy identifier. Let's spam blue hearts all over social media, all over our reviews, all over the ratings, everything like that. That would be so incredible. So any of those blue hearts that you see that pop up in your emojis, let's just spam that. Let's own it. Let's let that be a too pretty thing. Please, if you could leave us a rating, review, comment. The more engagement that we have, the more we can grow this podcast and we can grow together. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Get ready for next week's episode. It's going to be a really special birthday episode. That's right. The episode actually releases on my birthday, which falls on a Tuesday, which I think is no coincidence and fate. Can't wait to celebrate with you guys. Stay pretty.